My name is Emily, a 28-year-old writer from New York, where the hustle and bustle of city life has always been a part of me. But today, I'm far from the city. I'm standing in front of an old Victorian-style house, isolated in the middle of a forest in Maine, my grandmother's hometown. She passed away 2 weeks ago, and this house, her home for decades, is now mine. I've come back to clean it up, appraise it, and maybe sell it so I can return to my busy life. The house has an eerie vibe, with its weathered wooden walls, gray tiled roof covered in moss, and tall windows that look like sad eyes staring out at the forest. The air here is chilly, even though it's mid-autumn. The wind howls through the dry branches, creating a sound like a long, mournful sigh. I step inside, dragging my small suitcase, a shiver running down my spine. I never liked this house, even as a kid, but I tell myself I'll only be here for a few days to get things done. As I walk through the hallway, my eyes catch a door leading to the attic. It's boarded shut, with large, rusted nails driven deep into the frame, as if someone wanted to seal it off for good. I frown, a mix of curiosity and unease stirring inside me. But I shake my head, telling myself I don't have time for random thoughts. I drag my suitcase into my grandmother's old bedroom, trying to settle in and start my work. That first night in the old house is tough. I'm not used to the eerie silence of the countryside, no cars, no streetlights, just the howling wind and the faint chirping of insects in the forest. I lie on the creaky old bed, trying to read a book to lull myself to sleep, but my eyes keep drifting to the ceiling, where the attic door looms directly above me. Suddenly, I hear something. Thud, thud, thud. Slow, deliberate footsteps, as if someone is walking around in the attic. I bolt upright, my heart pounding. Who's there? I call out, but there's no reply. The footsteps stop, and then another sound echoes, a faint whispering, like a child talking to themselves. The hairs on the back of my neck stand up. I turn on the lamp, trying to calm myself, convincing myself it's just the wind or the old house creaking. But deep down, I know it's not the wind. I decide I can't sleep anymore, but as soon as I drift off, a strange dream pulls me in. In the dream, I see a little girl, about 7 or 8 years old, wearing a tattered white dress, standing in the forest under pouring rain. Her eyes are red, tears mixing with the rain, and she's sobbing, calling out, "Mommy. Mommy, don't lock me up." I wake up with a start, my back drenched in sweat. The image of the girl in my dream is so vivid it makes me tremble. The next morning, I call Michael, my boyfriend, who's still in New York. "Michael, I don't know, this house feels so strange," I say, my voice shaky. "Last night, I heard footsteps and whispers from the attic. Then I dreamed of a little girl. I'm scared." Michael chuckles softly, trying to comfort me. "You're probably just stressed, Emily. It's an old house, creaky noises are normal. Stay there for a few days and come back to me, okay? Don't overthink it." Despite his reassurance, I can't shake the feeling of dread. I glance at the attic door, feeling like something is watching me from the other side. That morning, while I'm sorting through a pile of old books in the living room, the doorbell rings. I open the door to find an elderly woman with silver hair and a small frame standing there, holding a plate of apple pie. "You must be Emily, right? I'm Mrs. Whitmore, your grandmother's neighbor," she says, her voice warm but her eyes tinged with worry. I invite her in, relieved to have someone to talk to in this gloomy place. Mrs. Whitmore sits down, looking around the house with a nostalgic gaze. "This house, it's been a long time since I last stepped inside," she says, her voice lowering. "Your grandmother was a private woman, didn't mingle much with the neighbors. But I know this place has seen some dark things." Curious, I ask, "What do you mean?" "I don't know anything about that." Mrs. Whitmore sighs and tells me that years ago, locals whispered about strange noises coming from the house, children crying, screams in the night. Some even claimed they saw a little girl standing at the attic window, though no one knew who she was. When I tell her about what I experienced last night, the footsteps, the whispers, and the dream of the girl in the white dress, Mrs. Whitmore's face turns pale. She grabs my hand tightly, her voice trembling. "Listen to me, Emily. Whatever you do, don't ever open the chest in the attic. Never." I'm taken aback. "What chest? Why can't I open it?" But Mrs. Whitmore just shakes her head and stands up abruptly. I can't say more. "Just listen to me, don't touch it." Then she leaves, leaving me with a flood of questions. I stand there, watching her disappear into the forest. Her warning echoes in my mind, filling me with both fear and curiosity. The chest in the attic, what could it be? Why did my grandmother seal the attic, and why was Mrs. Whitmore so terrified? My heart beats faster, torn between wanting to uncover the truth and fearing what might be waiting for me. All day, I try to focus on cleaning, but the attic consumes my thoughts. Mrs. Whitmore's warning only fuels my curiosity. I'll just take a quick look, nothing to be afraid of, I tell myself, though a part of me is still uneasy. I grab a hammer from my grandmother's old toolbox and decide to pry the nails from the attic door. With each nail I pull out, the wood creaks like a warning. When the last nail falls, the door swings open, revealing a narrow staircase leading up to the attic. A cold, musty breeze rushes down, making me shiver. I turn on the flashlight on my phone and climb the steps slowly. The faint light reveals a dusty space filled with cobwebs. In the center of the attic sits an old wooden chest, its surface stained with dried blood, a rusted padlock dangling from the side. I kneel down and touch the chest. It's freezing, as if it's draining the warmth from my body. I notice the padlock is broken, just a light push would open the lid. A voice in my head screams, "Don't open it." But curiosity wins over fear. I take a deep breath and lift the lid. Inside, I find a shattered porcelain doll, a few small bones, maybe animal bones, or... I don't dare think further. At the bottom is an old leather-bound diary, its pages yellowed with age. My hands tremble as I pick up the diary and open the first page. Scrawled in shaky handwriting are the words, "I did something unforgivable. I had to seal it away, for everyone's safety." It's my grandmother's handwriting. I sit on the attic floor, the flashlight illuminating the brittle pages. The diary unveils a horrifying secret my grandmother kept for years. Decades ago, she took in a little girl named Lily, an orphan she found wandering in the forest. Lily was a strange child, she rarely spoke, often stared into space, and sometimes said things that chilled my grandmother to the bone, like, "They're watching me, Grandma." One day, Lily died mysteriously in the house. My grandmother found her in the attic, her body cold, her fingernails bloody as if she'd been clawing at something. She never learned the true cause, but strange things started happening after Lily's death, children's cries, shadowy figures in the dark. The townsfolk whispered that Lily's spirit was still in the house, unable to move on. In desperation, my grandmother turned to an ancient ritual taught by a local medium. She sealed Lily's spirit in the chest, using blood and animal bones to bind her. "I had no choice," she wrote in the diary. "If I didn't, it would kill us all." The diary ends with a trembling line, "Never open the chest. Don't let it out." As I finish reading the last line, a chilling sound echoes through the house, a child's laughter, innocent yet filled with resentment. The laughter reverberates from every corner, as if dozens of children are laughing at once. I panic, dropping the diary to the floor. I slam the chest shut, but it's too late. The air in the house grows heavy, and I feel a pair of eyes watching me from behind. I race downstairs, my heart pounding. I call Michael, my voice frantic. Michael, you have to come here now. Something terrible is happening. Though skeptical, Michael hears the terror in my voice and drives from New York to Maine immediately. He arrives at midnight, finding me curled up in the living room, my face pale. What's wrong with you? What happened? Michael asks, trying to hold me. I tell him everything, the chest, the diary, the child's laughter. But Michael shakes his head. Are you sure you're not imagining things? You're exhausted, that's all. He doesn't believe in ghosts and decides to check for himself. Michael heads to the bathroom to wash his face, but the door suddenly slams shut, locking from the outside. Emily! Open the door, he yells, banging on it. But I'm in the living room, hearing nothing but the child's laughter growing louder. Then, a crash of glass comes from the bathroom, followed by Michael's terrified scream. I run to the door, trying to open it, but it won't budge. Inside, Michael feels a cold hand yank his hair, pulling him toward the mirror. He sees his reflection distort, and behind him stands a little girl in a white dress, her eyes pitch black, her mouth stretched into a ghastly smile. At the same time, I'm pulled into a vision. I'm in the attic, and in front of me is Lily, trapped in the chest. She's clawing at the lid, blood streaming from her fingers, screaming, "Why did she do this to me? Why?" I scream, trying to break free from the vision, but it's too real. Suddenly, I hear a voice whisper in my ear, "You let me out, now stay with me." Lily's ghost appears before me, no longer the girl from my dream. Her face is twisted, her skin pale as wax, her eyes bleeding red, her mouth split wide to her ears. "You're not leaving," she hisses, her small, icy hand grabbing my wrist, pulling me toward the chest. I thrash and scream, "No. I don't want to." I push the ghost away and run downstairs, dragging Michael, who just escaped the bathroom, his face covered in scratches. "We have to destroy it." I yell, my eyes wild with determination. I rush to the attic, drag the chest to the backyard, and Michael, though shaken, helps me pour gasoline on it and light a match. The flames roar to life, engulfing the chest. From within the fire, Lily's scream pierces the air, shrill and agonizing, "No." Her ghostly form appears one last time, her body twisting in the flames before vanishing completely. The fire dies down, leaving only ashes. Michael and I cling to each other, gasping for breath, feeling like we've just escaped a nightmare. We think it's over. We leave the house the next morning and return to New York. I try to forget what happened, focusing on work and normal life. But a few days later, a package arrives at my apartment. There's no sender's name, just a handwritten address, to Emily, from Maine. My hands tremble as I open it. Inside is the shattered porcelain doll, the one I saw in the chest. My heart stops. I turn and look into the mirror on the wall. In the reflection, behind me, stands Lily, her black eyes staring, her mouth stretched into a horrifying grin. "Did you think I'd let you go?" I scream, my voice echoing through the apartment, but no one hears.